Hello, my name is Mr. Butterworth, and I have your student in geometry.
And I'm Mr. Martinez. I'm the special educator who co-teaches in the class.
And Mr. Martinez is live in person in class, and I beam into class each day. So I'm the weird person that shows up on the screen or maybe shows up on your student's desk if they request me to come to their desk. We wanted to go through some basic information about geometry to give you an overview of the class. So we have two different types of days. We have remote days and we have in-person days. The remote days, we have some videos, 1 to 2, through Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle allows us to add questions to videos that we create to see how the kids are doing. And that kind of replaces some of the stuff we would normally do in class if we were to have a normal amount of time, which we do not have. We have roughly half the number of hours we normally would with your students. And then we have some appropriate Khan Academy assignments covering the same material. They need to get 70% or better for full credit. So they're out of 3 points and they get a 3 out of 3 as long as they get 70% or better. If they don't do that the first time, no worries, they can do it again. And if they're struggling on it, they can talk to us and then try again. And then I'll let Mr. Martinez talk about the in-person days because he's live in person.
So during the in-person days, we really might like to make sure that there's a clear structure to the class. So we always begin in a similar manner in that we warm up and do a quick review of the remote material. We'll tend to do that on Jamboard so that students can interact with it all together and they can either ask questions to Mr. Butterworth or myself. And then we'll move into our first work session. So this tends to be independent work that they can, again, request one of us to help out with, either through Khan Academy, Jamboard. We use Desmos for some interactive labs. We then go out on the mask break, which is just a quick 15-minute break for the kiddos to take their masks off, recollect themselves. And then when we come back together, we move into the second work session. And this can either be a continuation of what we did through the first time. We might mix things up and try out a different format or move into the spirals. And we really want to make sure that students have access to the both of us. So during this time, they can get one-on-one help, either from me in the room, or they can flag Mr. Butterworth in Zoom, and Mr. Butterworth can beam directly to their desks so he can work with them one-on-one. There have been some students who are a little nervous about maybe asking for help from Mr. Butterworth because he's on the big screen, but it can be individualized. And that way we can make sure that everyone's getting appropriate time and getting the support that they need in the one class that we see them per week.
And some of your students don't want to have me come to the desk, but they're willing to interact with me through that Jamboard thing that Mr. Martinez mentioned. Basically, all of us can access it. The students will have their individual ones. We'll also have a class one. And on the student Jamboards, I can put sticky notes or suggestions, or I can write on it with my iPad. And I've kind of gone back and forth with with some of your students in that way, where I put a sticky note up and they'll make some changes and they might put another sticky note up and we'll kind of converse that way. And if some of your students are comfortable doing that, that's totally fine. Personally, I find it a little bit weird to be conversing with your students via sticky note, but we're making it work in kind of trying to meet the students where they are. In terms of grading, so we have spirals, we have the remote work that they have to do, we have journals, and then in-person work. The spirals we'll explain on the next page because I know those are a little weird. The remote work, as we said, are videos and some assignments through Khan Academy. The journals are just a way for us to get to know them. I've been teaching, this is my 17th year, and I've been doing them every year. It's a way to converse with students in just like kind of a different way, not necessarily connected to the curriculum. And I find it a useful tool to get to know the students. And then the in-person work where Mr. Martinez is with the students in school. I'm either on the smartboard or kind of coming to their desk or helping them via sticky note or whatever they need. In terms of the spirals, this is a little bit of a different experience. So the students the spirals are generally going to have 2 sections on them, and the students will get 2 different grades. So in Power School, you will see 2 different grades. And they'll get, those concepts will show up twice. So on one week, they'll see, I don't know, something about segments. And then 2 weeks later, they'll see that topic again. And if they do better, we change their original score. So it's designed kind of a built-in redo for them. When we were in person, we did them slightly differently, but this year we're kind of trying to keep it at about 2 topics, and we're just looking for improvement over time. Mr. Martinez put together a resource sheet that they can use on their quizzes. They can also use the reviews that we create for the quizzes and anything else while they're taking their quizzes. Except obviously they shouldn't talk to each other. And Mr. Martinez is going to keep updating that review sheet to help the students out. And that's really all we have for you. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Our emails are there, toddbutterworth@danvers.org or nicholasmartinez@danvers.org. We try to answer as quickly as possible. We are getting a lot more emails this year than in previous years. So if it takes us a day or two to respond, please give us a little bit of a break on that. But if it takes more than 2 days, something might have gone wrong and your email might have gone to spam. So don't hesitate to reach out again or ask your student to talk to Mr. Martinez in school or shoot me an email or shout at me over the Zoom, whatever they need. I don't know if you had anything else, Mr. Martinez, for them.
Just reinforcing that we know that a big thing this year is going to be communication. And while Mr. Butterworth is remote, we are still functioning as a normal co-taught class. So they have the additional supports in place and they have the educators in place to help them out. So the big thing this year is just making sure that they communicate with one of us so that we can all work together to find success for your child.
And have some fun. We'd like to have some fun.
Yes, very true.
We hope you have a good day, and we are glad that you took the time to watch this lovely video.
Thank you kindly.